Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here, and welcome to the 24-hour Bible study, Coachless and Sujata Against All Odds live podcast / videocast. And I'm going to invite a couple people up here. We are currently on Clubhouse with welcome Emmy, welcome Jeremy, welcome Michelle and Brenda. Thank you for being here. And I am here with my co-host, Sujata, who is the author of Against All Odds. No retakes, no manuals, real life lessons. Sujata has accumulated a wealth of experiences during her life, leading to insights and knowledge that cannot be coached or taught in a class. She is a mother, a wife, a journalist, a consultant, an activist, a leader, and businesswoman domestically and internationally. In sharing her story, Sujata strives to provide readers of all backgrounds in any part of the world with real-life examples on how to deal with the unpredictable nature of everyday life. And this week, our goal is to have a conversation about what is commitment and what makes you committed. Sharing the areas of training and development, in today's world, looking at the pertinent business, faith, family, and speaking about all of it through the filters of communications, integrity, and against all odds. So that's what we're up to today. That's the topic of conversation. What's commitment? What makes you committed? And how does one drive that conversation? What makes one person so super committed they will go to all ends to have something, and has others go, well, if it's not easy and I can't make it happen, I've asked 3 people and they walk away. What makes somebody continue to fight all of the conversations of negativity, all of the no's? What has somebody go to that next space where there might be a yes? So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Sujata. I'm going to go and get my tea kettle going so that I can have a hot cup of tea or coffee as we dive into this podcast. And this also gives Sujata a little freedom to take over and share and say hello. And welcome to the stage, Michelle. Welcome, Byron. Welcome, Miss Pat. Sent you both an invite. Welcome, Brandon. It's good to see you. And look forward to a great conversation. Sujata, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Coach Les. So I shall share my little bit of story. Coach Les already knows about it because it's in the book as well. Commitment, right? Um, when when I fought my daughter's case, I was shunned by the very building that we stayed in. However, when I won the case, everybody came around and praised me and my efforts and things like that. And the same building management committee invited me to be a part of the committee. Okay. I joined the committee and I took over handling the portfolio of security because I knew it was a big issue since I had seen it for the last so many years and I'd undergone the trauma of what happens. And the same committee who invited me in, they actually turned around after I came in and they realized that I was not going to be, sitting quietly or towing the line, but I was going to take a stand and doing my bit to serve the community. So to put me out, they started, harassing me and making life difficult for me, so much so that I had to take it to the general body. And I remember that somebody very insensitively said, "Oh, well, nobody put a gun to your head." And so, if you chose to come in and do your bit, then you should like swallow it and take it in your stride. So that was the cold, hard advice or sentiment that I had to deal with. And of course, I did deal with it, but it does not leave a good taste. And I realized that people are what they are and they don't change. So I said, okay, but I am still committed. And I've been committed. I go down from Singapore to India for every meeting if possible and spend a lot of money in doing that. But till the time that I'm there and I handle security, which I think is the most important thing going around there, I am going to do my bit. I have stayed on the flights, long haul flights. I have spent money, been on Wi Fi, watched the CCTV camera, and spent money on, doing a water fire audit, you name it. So when I'm committed, I go the extra mile. So walk the talk is my kind of a um, DNA. And with that, I rest my case and I would love to hear from the others. What is commitment and why are you so committed?
I need coffee and I need to get rid of that. I put all the vanilla cream for some reason. I didn't bring one. There's six out and there's outside. I needed to be able to so that I can drink it though. What's going on, Sujata?
So I just finished
I know,
sharing.
but there's no. All I heard was silence. Did you ask a question and they're not answering?
Yes, I asked a question, and then before I could say who's next, you came back. So it takes when I speak, there is going to be a little silence because I tell some real life example. You have read the book. You know that when the committee, when the whole building ostracized me when I fought my daughter's case, and then when I won the case, they all became my fans, so to speak. They invited me to be a part of the management committee. And when I entered and I took over security, they realized I was not going to toe the line and I was going to take a stand, which did not go down well. So they started harassing me and making my life miserable. And when I took it to the general body, one of them said, exactly when we were having a conversation a little while ago, and you said, it triggered me. You said, nobody put a gun to my head. So that the person told me, nobody put a gun to your head. So if you have come into the committee to serve the community, then you better swallow it and take it in your stride. And so I had to deal with it. But I didn't back off, I didn't back down. And I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time, resource, effort on long haul flights. I used to be on Wi Fi so that I could watch the CCTV camera. At all odd hours, I keep awake and I watch it. Then I have gone down at my expense for every meeting that I can possibly attend. So that's my commitment. That's how I am. So that was my share.
Say something?
Of course you may.
I see a lot of courage in you for you to do all that. I just saw bravery, courage, and you didn't give up. You definitely were committed. I saw something new I never realized. I got to read your book. I have to get it. Probably Amazon, right?
Yep.
Yes, thank you. It is on Amazon.
Yeah, I really do want to read it. I really, really do. I feel very encouraged by you. So, yeah, I'm gonna go on Amazon. I'll do that right after. I'll do that right after the room's closes. That's how you're amazing.
We'll put the link up, Michelle. Here's the question, though. So, one of the things that I'm committed to inside of this room, and this is for everybody listening, right? And thank you all of you for being here. Is our goal in having these podcasts is to have each one of you looking into your own lives to see where you're committed and to distinguish why you're committed. Because otherwise, we're just like TV sitting up here going, hey, look at us. Look, Sujata's got this. She's got this. She's this. Right. And that's cool. and that's awesome TV. What we want is for you to look in your own life and say, wow, look at all this. Look at what I've done and look at where I'm committed. And look at what I've produced. And here's my commitment. And here's why I'm committed. And if we have, as people see this and they ask themselves that question, this is where breakthroughs happen. Is the fact that you look in the mirror and see, wow, from Sujata's share, I can see this about myself and my own life. Now, Michelle and Byron, both of you, I already know enough about both of you to be able to answer that question for you. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have you look at the question and answer the question, because I'm interested in you seeing what's possible for you. And by the way, this goes for everybody down in the audience. I know Miss Pat well enough to be able to answer that question. I know Fabian, even though he may not know it, I know that him well enough to be able to answer a partial part of this question. I know June well enough to answer this question. I know Emmy well enough to answer this question. So this is, and Michael, an opportunity. I know Michael well enough, Michael Myers. So the idea in this, and I know Jenna, as I look down and see in the audience. So, you know, my invitation is for all of you to come up and join us in this conversation. This is where the rubber meets the road. And this is where, as a community, we raise the level for all of us, and all of these boats rise together, right? Because that's what's possible in this conversation, right? This is not an ordinary room, by the way. And what do I mean by that? There's a lot of clubs on Clubhouse that get 2,000 or 3,000 people in them, and everybody up on the stage looks good. They have these great big showcases, websites, bank accounts, lifestyles, 40,000, 500,000 followers. They've got all of this stuff. That's not what this is about. For me, where I'm looking at making a difference, and Sujata has joined me in this challenge, is we want one person at a time, 2 people, 3 people, to see the value of being with us on the stage in our rooms and taking us from where we're at to the next level, not to be 1,000x and have no money in our bank account because we gave it all to somebody, but instead of that, we want to provide some value so that you all walk away having spent time in this room going, wow, I gave an hour of my time or half an hour of my time, and look what I walked away with. I walked away with a breakthrough in how I see myself, how I'm seen by others, and that I've stepped into the listening. And notice how I say this. I've stepped into the listening of who Coach Les sees me as, or who Sujata sees me as, or who my fellow on the stage here sees me as. And that's a breakthrough, because now I can get up and I can take those 3 or 4 steps that I've been nervous to take or hesitant to take in the past. Does that communicate, Sujata?
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to shout out to a couple people here that are online, that are, you know, Travis Sims wrote, commitment and accountability are big core values for him. We got a hello from D. Sean Waite comes in. Commitment is definitely the secret sauce. It's not enough to be interested. You have to be all in. You won't have success just by dipping your toes in the water, right? So these are some of the comments from online. So given that, Michelle, what do you see for yourself in this conversation? And you already unmuted, so just all you need to do is speak.
Okay. All right, give you an example today. After I left the room this morning with you guys. I actually slipped on water in the kitchen. And yeah, I hurt myself just a little bit. But I was determined to go to pool therapy today. And I didn't realize it's a passion because I went because I want to improve myself. And that I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better for God. I'm gonna be better for Christ. That's all I kept thinking, you know. During the fall, I almost did say to myself, oh, I gotta stay home, you know, but like no, because I thought if I would have stopped, I'm not gonna reach my goal. I'm not gonna do it. And it's gonna be harder for me to go tomorrow. You know, and I'm gonna see blessings in my life, Coach. But I have to work hard too. I'm gonna have to trust God and work hard too. And I just want to be an example for everybody too. You know what I mean? That God is helping me through this. You know, and I'm committed, Coach. I am. That's one of the reasons I want to go. I gotta be committed. I gotta go. I don't care how hard it was. Because I could have stayed home.
You could have.
But I didn't.
You could have. And here's the thing, Michelle. So it's very interesting how you just communicated to all of us. There was one place in there where you said, I am committed. And then you bounced around a little bit, right? And the part that's I am committed is all there is. The things are, I got to look, you know, I got to do this or I got to do that. Here's the thing. None of us have to do anything.
No.
None of us have to do anything. How do I know that? Because there are people sitting on a couch, eating bonbons, living off the government.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that.
I know you don't.
Honestly, I don't. I tell you many times when I had that meeting with you, I don't want to make, I told you, I don't want to get a certain amount of money on SSD. I told you that.
I know you did.
Grow.
That's why
I got to do something. You know?
Well, and here's the thing. The fact that you got up and you went this morning is the conditional environment of which you are living in, which is I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. Even if my little voice in the back of my head says, no, you can stay at home and live on the couch. It's okay.
It did, Coach.
I know.
That's totally the truth.
Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, even if we're standing in 6 inches of poop, we get comfortable with the poop. And it's so, and our little monkey brain in the back says, hey, we know this poop. It's comfortable. We know the smell. We know how it feels. And even though it's terrible and it's poop, we're okay because we know it. If we step out of it, my goodness, we could possibly step into more poop that we don't know, and it could be worse, i.e., the cup is half empty. Or you can do what you did this morning and you got up and you said, I'm going. Because guess what? The cup is half full for you and you're choosing to step into the fullness of life. Does that make sense, Michelle?
It makes sense. And another thing happened too. When I went into the physical therapy today, a pool, it's the same thing. Getting ready to go into the pool, I talked to receptionist, and she said, "Oh, co-pays are $38 every time." My mouth just dropped. I'm like, "Oh that's a lot. I'm like, oh, wow, God will provide. I can't quit. And it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Lord. That's all I said. I says, I'm going back tomorrow, and I'm going back. I go to 2 different places, Coach.
Yep.
I go into a different place tomorrow for tomorrow's an actual physical therapy. Then the next day will be So it doesn't matter. God will provide. He knows where my heart is. He knows my passion. So I'm not even going to worry about that, Coach. That's faith. That's commitment.
And, and here's the thing, this is somebody on Travis said again on Facebook, comfortable is a dangerous place to stay.
It is. It is.
I
know so many people like that.
Exactly. Exactly. And each and every person that's in this room, each and every person that's here on stage, each and every person listening is saying, you know what? I want to listen. I want to get out of where I'm at. And how do I know that? Because you're here. And a lot of times people don't give the acknowledgement for that. Right? The fact that you're in this conversation, Michelle, other than that you know me, the fact that you're in this conversation is going against the odds.
Definitely.
And remember the title, as I read the title of Sujata's book, which is now up above, and for those that are watching online or on Facebook or whatever, here we go again, right? This is Against All Odds. No retakes, no manuals, real life lessons by Sujata, right? It's against all odds. And the odds are, even the government counts on this. The government counts on you being a person that is not going to get up off the couch. They count on that because they count on your vote to keep them in office, giving you money to stay at home.
That's right.
Just like Big Pharma counts on you to not get well, to not eat healthy, to not drink water, so that they can get you taking the next drug, the next thing. Why? Because that keeps them in business. Now, is this for everything? No. For those of you listening to the replays, by the way, I am not saying this is 100%. There are some people that it is well deserved, that it is well apportioned, and it is beautifully situated for them to be in the place they're in, being supported by the government to get them back on their feet, to get them moving, to get them in the right direction, to get them re-educated. I know, and this is just an example I'm using, I know several mothers that were left by the fathers with several children. I'm not using specifics so nobody can suddenly figure out who this is. And they ended up needing welfare, needing food stamps. And I say need on purpose because they needed them. And then they found that they could get government grants to go to school. They went to school. They became an attorney out of it, or they became a dentist, or they became a nurse. And now they are starting their own businesses because they found the strength within them to be committed. And they took small steps, which led to the next step, to the next step, and the next step. So thank you, Michelle, for your share. I'm going to go. I saw Byron with a heart flash. So I'm going to go to him. Byron, the mic is yours.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Sujata. Hi, Michelle. Everybody, look at the stage. I appreciate everybody showing up. I'm a big fan of Coach for sure. But what I really am a big fan of is the methodology of doing this consistently, Coach. telling the story, because that's the determination. You know, you're not looking, like you were saying, my man, is like, you're not looking at the voids in life. You're looking at the potential, the opposite. You said it so well. I don't even want to repeat it because it's just rhetorical, but it's the half cup full. And that's like where my calculations in life come with like reflection, you know, and I look at my reflection, what I'm adding to the world, because I'm an additive person. I'm very determined not to focus on the voids. Yeah, my story, it comes with a lot of that, you know, just through time and my family. But what it's given me is the reflectiveness, like the determination to always reflect and grow out of every single moment. And never, ever do I put myself in the position of that word failure. I don't know what it is. I can have conversations after conversations, and people, you know, can label things as one way in the failure realm. But when I compute what they're saying and when I spit out what comes out of my mind, it's not failure. So that's kind of where I'm at, Coach, is just not looking to fill a void, not looking at that side of what I don't have or what I'm not, to go and find something. You know, I just see who I am and I focus on that filled part. Because truthfully, I want to be like you a lot of ways, Coach. I want to be someone that's passionate about helping others, that position themselves to bring out the uniqueness of not looking into the void of life, you know. So, but that's kind of where I'm determined. I'm really determined on, you know, first and foremost, you know, healing some of that myself, so that when I do apply my determination, the calculated idea there is that the research I found for myself and my life can spill out into others so that they can construct that for what they are. Because that's my truth too, is I know everybody is exactly that. You're not full of voids. And if that's the case, perspective is king. And that's why I come back. It's really your guys' methodology for perspective sharing. So thank you, Coach. I really appreciate you guys.
I'm going to take it one level deeper, Byron. And that is this. If the cup is empty and I pick up an empty cup, the game gets exciting. Why? Because I can fill it with anything. The possibilities are endless. There are no constraints if I have an empty cup. I don't have to fill it with the same stuff that's in it. I can fill it with something totally new. And so many people look at their empty cup and stop. And then there are those other people that complain, look, my cup's empty. And it's not empty. It's waiting. It's waiting for the next possibility. And with that, I pass the mic over to you, Emmy. Welcome to the stage, Emmy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I never thought I was a person to be determined or to do anything worthwhile. And but so Jana's speak just touched my heart, and make me realize there is a place, there is a certain time that I was determined to do it. And I wanted to share that with you guys. You know, nothing is done by our own. It is the grace of God that gives us the strength when we rely on Him. Oh boy. His grace, His strength makes us walk on water, makes us walk. Literally, that faith will rise us up. I was told that I will never be successful from an English teacher who was my roommate. And 11 years, I drop English 101. I go in, first week, I drop because of just a fear. I drop out. And one night, there was this preacher in a meeting. He didn't even know I was even there. But God knew. just start singing, do not be afraid, only believe, only believe. I literally grabbed it and hold on to that word, and I went back to school. I was a nursing assistant, ended up going all the way to my master's without, it just from one to one to one to one, back to back. I knew God has my back. I knew God was in front of me, and I knew God was all over. So when so for me to say I've been determined, it's because I know who I belong to. And that was the only reason. I hope you can hear me. I am complete. I hope my story will encourage somebody else. Do not be afraid. Believe God is for you, not against you. God bless you guys.
Woo woo! Thanks, Emmy. Here's the thing. First of all, let me say this. This is the 24-hour Bible study club. Therefore, of course, we love it when we hear the commitment is our commitment to our faith and commitment to God. Now, for those of you that may not have that same level of spiritual commitment, I want you to listen to what we're saying, and whatever your faith is, whatever your stand is, whatever your foundation is, listen to these people that are sharing from that place. Don't suddenly go, oh, well, Emmy's super religious and I don't want to listen to that because that's not me. That is not a powerful way, that doesn't have any integrity and has zero workability at this room making a difference for you. It doesn't matter what your faith is. It doesn't matter what your background is. You can hear the commitment in people's voice, the breakthroughs they have, and you can filter it and mirror it and match it from wherever you are. Too many times people will hear things, and years ago I did. So I'll be the first one to admit that years ago, before my faith was where it is today, I would sit there and go, oh no, another Bible thumper saying that the answer is between the covers of the Bible. Now, for those of you that are looking, going, well, wait a minute, Coach Les, this is your club. Yes, because I've done all of the due diligence, all of the work to suddenly end up in a place where I look now and I share from the top of the mountain, like Zig Ziglar does, that the Bible is one of the greatest literary works to provide motivation, to provide answers, to provide success stories, to provide an opportunity for people to see what other people failed and won at, failed and succeeded at. And this may be funny to some of you, the story of David and Goliath. Here's a young shepherd boy with a sling and a rock that takes down the largest warrior from the other side with a small rock. Now, when you hear those type of stories and you listen to the story that exists out there in the world, not even sometimes related biblically, you start to see the possibility in, wow, what if I could be David? What if what I have to share with people is the rock in the sling? What if what I share with the world, if I take off the restraints, the noises of I'm not good enough, not big enough, not rich enough, not good looking enough, and I go out there and I persevere and I step in being committed and I share and I share and I attempt this way and that way and this way, guess what? You could be the next Thomas Edison. For those of you that may not know that person, Thomas Edison is the reason we have light from a light bulb. And he tried thousands of times, thousands, not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands. And there's an old story out there, a fable, and a question that I ask some people. And I tell people, look, if I brought 1,000,000 oysters to your backyard, truckload by truckload, and I filled your backyard with 1,000,000 oysters, and in one of those oysters was a pearl that was worth $1,000,000, what would you do? Would you be one of these people that gets out there and just starts shucking oysters as quickly as you can, looking for the oyster, for the pearl, looking for the oyster with the pearl? Or are you going to be like a lot of people? Imagine this book is an oyster. There are some people by the 100th oyster, they would come and they go, okay, and they would start praying over that oyster. This is the one. I know it's the one. God, this has to be the one. This is it. And it's the 101st oyster they're opening out of 1,000,000. And they pray over it. And then they go to open it and it's not it. God, my prayers didn't work. And they blame God that 101st oyster was not the one with the pearl. And they sit on the couch and blame. And then somebody comes along and says, come on, come on. I tell you what, if you give me $1,000, I'll motivate you to open the rest of them. Ooh, really? With a shiny object? Yes. And here it is. This is a new opener with a shiny handle. And so you pay $1,000 to get the new shiny opener. And you open another 100 oysters. And there's no pearl. And you start to get sad again. I paid $1,000 for this shiny opener. And I'm on oyster number 200. And I still haven't found the pearl. And you go, well, maybe if I pray over the pearl and I rub the pearl. And then you open it just a little bit and you go, oh, I think I see the pearl. And you talk about it and you share with friends. I think I found the pearl. I think I see it. And your friend comes over to have a beer with you and says, oh, maybe that's the one. Yep, I see what you see. And you haven't even opened it yet. And you're talking about it and sitting around and having a beer. Yes, I'm committed. I'm committed to these 1,000,000 oysters because I know there's $1,000,000 in the oysters. And then you finally open it up and there's no pearl in there. It was just a little reflection. See, it just doesn't work. I spend $1,000. I get a new opener and it doesn't work. And there are 999,800 oysters still to be opened. And one of them, for sure, guaranteed and promised, has $1,000,000 pearl and sitting in the inside of it. My question to you is, when are you going to get off your butt and just start opening the oysters? Stop making complaints. Stop looking for excuses. Stop trying to buy the next widget and just open oysters. So with that, I pass the microphone over to you, Fabian.
And good afternoon, Coach Les, SUJATA, everybody on stage. SUJATA, thanks for inviting me up. It's good to be here as always. Great value and great way to close my day here at work. So thank you so much. As far as commitment, what does this mean to me? Well, I think a commitment is the greatest gift that you can give somebody. It's not money, it's not material things. It is your word. And you know, Coach Les, I'm thinking here of, I'm a big Yankees fan, of a baseball analogy.
Yes.
Okay. And you know who we remember most are the home run hitters throughout history, right? Reggie Jackson and Sammy Sosa and those kind of guys. You know, there's something about the home run hitters, these big, strong guys, man, and they'll be forever remembered most because they hit the home runs. But what about the players who don't hit the home runs? Who have to scratch out a hit, have to steal base, maybe rely on an error to get to third base. And what I'm talking about is folks that have to show up every single day. They don't get to hit that home run and win the lotto. So to me, there's so much more value in showing up every day, not only for the Lord, but for each other. And it's so easy not to do the right thing, right? It's so easy. The temptation is always there to just give up. Give up. But who wants to be ordinary? Everybody, so many people are ordinary by choice, but that's their choice. But when people look at you and people think of you, what do they think of? What do they think of? Will they take your phone call the next time? When they see you on the road, do they cross the street? Do they come over and say something nice to you? So your name, your reputation, your brand, whatever you call it, it's all a part of your commitment to them. So to me, commitment is everything. I honor it. I appreciate everybody that has been committed to me and has stood up for me and showed up for me every single day. The least I can do is to return the favor. It doesn't cost no money, man, but it holds great, great value. Thank you, Coach.
Very well said as usual, Fabian. I just love it.
It's awesome, Fabian. It's I was jumping up and down. I'm like, yep, here comes the baseball analogy. Because it, you know, and then and you could probably say this a little better than me. But if we even look at the home run hitters, they miss 7 out of 10 times.
Right. Sometimes 8, Coach.
And they're still making millions.
Yes, they are. They're typically hitting 250, but they're making more than anybody else. But we remember them, don't we?
Of course. And the sad and what was and now all of a sudden he's escaped my mind, but he was a Cardinal and he has played the most games, had the most hits, and it was something like 3,000, and he broke like all the records.
Stan Musial?
No, I think it was somebody else. There was another one, and he was a Cardinal, and he had maybe it was even 5,000. But what the only reason I bring him up is because he was a guy that was never sick, was always there, and he showed up over and over and over and over and over. And I look and see, I mean, even this morning, I was in another club this morning, another here on Clubhouse, the 413, and they were celebrating a lady named Kelly who had showed up for 365 days in a row straight, missing none. even with Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter, she still showed up at 5 at I think she lives in Colorado, so it would be 4:38, 4:40 every single day for 365 days. And people are like, what? And it was because after 12 days of being there, she suddenly saw the value. She met somebody that supported her in getting her patent and connected with somebody. And due to that, said, this is a place I am going to show up to every single day for 365 days. Now, people ask me the same question. Coach Les, you've been doing this since February 12th, 2021, every day. Yep. I've been on and opened up the 24-hour Bible study, Morning Possibility with a Cup of Bible. I was late one day, really late. And I think I was late one other day. But other than that, I was there running the room every single day. Even when I was on vacation, I woke up an hour earlier than everybody else on the campsite, sat there and started the room, got it going, and then handed it over to somebody. Now, people say, Les, why? Why are you that committed? What has you driven to do that many days in a row? And I'll tell you, because I see the difference that it makes every single day, even when I don't want to be there, to create something that makes a difference in the world. And it's the same commitment that you heard from Sujata about her commitment to prove the guilt, seek justice, and see it all the way through. That for hours on end, she sat waiting for the people to come that she had to speak to. You can go home and we'll call you. Nope, I'm going to sit here until I see that person. That commitment. You know, what is it that drives people? And what I wanted to start to develop in this conversation for people is, what is your vision? What is your mission? As Simon Sinek says, what is your why? What is your purpose? What is your passion that gives you power? So with that, I pass the mic to June. June, are you able to come off mute?
Yes, I'm able to come off mute. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. What's your commitment and what makes you committed?
Well, you took the words right away from me. If I feel that I have a good reason to be committed, I can be committed to that thing that I feel I understand well enough to commit to it, which is the why. And then there are other things like going to the gym and, trying to get on that diet and stuff like that, that I can do it for a while and then I find myself being uncommitted at some point a little sooner than I had planned. And I just haven't figured out why it's like that. However, I keep recommitting because I do want to maybe perhaps see the results of that. But somehow there'll be something that'll come along, a vacation, or somebody will have a birthday. There'll be some other more important reason to temporarily uncommit. if that's a thing. But for me, the reason why I'm doing something will either make me really commit or make me waver in my commitment. Make sense, Coach?
It makes complete sense. And the question is, how do you connect it to the same commitment that you have for the students that you work for, that you would cut off part of your left arm to support them in getting where they wanted to get to?
Yeah, pretty much I would. But that's a love thing. That's
aha. So then the question is, it's beautiful that you said that. And the question would be, so is there an opportunity or possibility for you to love yourself
enough to be on that diet?
I love that you finished my sentence. It was perfectly timed.
Yes, there is. It's just that
Now you're going to give me an excuse. Go for it.
I feel that other commitments get in the way of that commitment. Here's
my question. If you were to say let's say that you were about to break your commitment because it's your sister's daughter's wedding, and you were about to go and break your commitment. If you were to sit down with your sister and you were to say, "Dear sister, do you think I ought to break my commitment to my health and well-being to eat cake at your daughter's wedding?" What do you think your sister would say?
That's a $2,000 cake and somebody has got to eat it. I don't know. I mean, realistically, that's what would come into play. That's a very expensive cake, and I don't want to go home with any. So everybody needs to eat cake.
So therefore, surround that, and this goes to the point for me, is surrounding ourselves with a community that is as committed to us as we are to them. And when we are about to fall short of our commitment, to be in communication with that person or that group. That is the power in community. That is the power in coaching. That is the power in a mastermind or a group that you have given your word to. And then it all steps down to honoring your word.
Just honoring yourself. I think that's a real issue. I don't know why I could talk myself out of something that I committed to. Now I could go for 6 weeks, but there'll be that 1 week that I feel like I deserve to alter the plan. Yep. How do I get that thing out where I feel like I deserve?
That is the little internal dialogue that is the enemy looking for you to break your word to yourself again.
So a cheat date, there's nothing such as a cheat date. Like you're cheating yourself when you have a cheat date.
You know what? This is going to be rhetorical, but what would you say is the answer to that question?
Well, I know, but it's a thing, though. Everybody knows when you're dieting, you get a cheat day.
You're telling yourself the wrong thing.
It's like living for the weekend.
If you're setting a goal on something, you don't call it a cheat day.
Can you imagine a baseball? Okay, so Fabian, can you imagine a baseball player getting up to bat and going, "Hey guys, I need to take a mulligan today. Now that's golf. I need to take a cheat day. I think you just need to give me a walk to the first base."
It may not work that way, in baseball.
And what makes it work in life any other time?
It's established. It's an established thing.
Sujata's biting her lip. I've got to hear what the internal dialogue over there with Sujata has to say. Come on, Sujata.
Very simply put, it's like, you are convincing yourself. The word cheat day itself is there. You're cheating yourself. You're not cheating anybody else. So if you have made a resolve, you stick to it no matter what. And that happens to every aspect of life. Like I said, if you have to do the right thing, then you have to do the right thing. So if you're following something, then you follow it thoroughly. There's no 90% or 99.9%. It has to be 100%.
Yeah.
So there are no cheat days. That's just something that we do it to make ourselves feel better, or to, if we are not committed, so we just follow it. We say it's a cheat day, but actually there's no such thing as cheat day. That means you're cheating yourself.
Uh-huh.
And this is, by the way, one of the things that I share with people is there's the people that say, well, I'm 99.9% less. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine if I could hit 99% of the balls that were thrown at me in baseball? I said, well, that's a different game and the odds are different. If you're looking at 99.9% on being, let's go to the other extreme. I'm 99.9% sober. But on that 0.1%, I have a few shots of Jägermeister and a few shots of vodka, and I get absolutely obliterated. And oh, by the way, I jumped into my car and I killed somebody. But that's just on that 0.1%. 99.9% of the time I'm sober. Would that work, June?
Absolutely not.
And
It
then
would not work.
Then the question is, why do we allow it with something that is equally able to kill us, i.e. congestive heart failure, diabetes, all of these, cancer? I mean, cancer's favorite food. Cancer's favorite food is sugar. Therefore, all of these things we are saying, yeah, we're going to have a cheat day. We're going to let the cancer have a little sugar. It's just one day.
Because you don't put it like that in your mind.
I understand, but a heroin addict, I'll just give him one more day of heroin.
Got it.
Now, by the way, June, this is what you just shared and what you just asked and what you just went back and forth with Sujata and I and with Jeanette is the number one conditional response from 100% of people out there that are not willing to be 100% in this game. And by the way, I will include myself when it comes to this food thing, because Oreo cheesecake homemade ice cream from the shop that is 8.3 blocks away from my house is absolutely worth breaking my food condition, because I'm walking all the way there and then walking back. So it's not going to have any real impact. I love Emmy's.
Exactly. That's exactly how you justify it.
Look at Emmy's little GIF. That is hilarious. That has got to be the best GIF I think I've ever seen. It's a white parrot bird shaking its head back and forth. Oh, Emmy, that's priceless. Look at that thing. Oh, June, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I pass the mic over to Jenna. How are you, my dear Jenna? How's that voice?
It's good.
Come on, I'm waiting for words of wisdom.
This is too funny. Oh my gosh. For me, commitment would be the fact that I wake up at least an hour before work, and I start off the day by meditating, and then I study languages. At the moment, I'm learning Spanish and Greek, and then I get moving and get ready, and then once I'm there, it's nothing but work all day. So, and plus I love to make arts and crafts, such as I like to knit and make jewelry, and that's kind of a commitment for me too, because I'm kind of using that hobby to someday put together a little business. And yeah, that's those are my main commitments.
All right. Thank you, Jenna. Thanks for sharing with us.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Emmanuel from Sierra Leone. How are you, sir? Uh-oh. There we go.
Coach, sorry for that.
No
I'm
worries.
doing great. I don't know if I can be heard because we have bad network, but I don't know.
We can hear you beautifully. You sound like you're right next door to me.
Coach, to throw light on commitment, I just want to take my life as an example, as a practical example, that I use the tools of commitment for me to achieve two things, which are so beneficial to me. I remember like when I was in secondary school. Yeah, when I was in secondary school, I get connected with a particular organization which you call Hope of Glory. So like every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I normally go there, go sweep the place, pack things together. I started doing that for about 1, 2, 3 months. I was so committed. If they don't give me the job, I gave myself the job. I was the one that took the job for myself. But I continuously committed to be going there every Monday, Wednesday, going there until a final time. A time arrives, they gave me a scholarship for me to do my first study of certificates in Bible. Commitment was the one that led for me to have it. And also again, it was because of commitment again, I got a connection from WhatsApp. Yeah, I got a connection from WhatsApp, be in an organization that is not yet established, and they appointed me as a coordinator. Despite they were not paying me, they were not the one charging for me, but like I was committed with the job that they gave to me as a coordinator. I was trying to see everything is in place. Pastor Enoch is the one that have that particular organization on WhatsApp. Everything I was doing it. Everything I was in setting program, preacher, going out. I got somebody that supported me for my university. She was the one that paid all of my fees. My university fees was not paid by my biological mother. No, she was the one that supported me out of commitment. So like commitment is the tools we use to achieve our dream. It's the tools we use to achieve our goal. You know, right now I'm writing book and just this. Maybe the knowledge might not be that big, the English might not be that correct, but like I'm still committed in writing it. Sometimes every day, every day I normally take my books, go over it, read it, try to explain it, try to see where I am people for them to be editing it for me. Despite it has not yet been established, but I am committed with it. I know the vision. I say, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Committed in my daily activity, committed in expanding my brain, because I know that if you want to achieve in life, you have to be committed in doing what you ought to be doing. Because like we are living with people that value themselves. So if you don't value yourself, they can't value you. You have to value yourself. You have to show that you are valued before ever they value you. You have to show that you are committed in doing this thing before ever they give you a position. Sometimes they might be watching you. You don't know that they are observing you. But with your commitment, you can influence them for them to partner with you or for them to work with you. So and also I've learned again out of the various speakers by the grace of the living God and how to expand or improve on my commitment again. Thanks so much, Coach. I want to sleep really. I'm feeling this. I want to sleep because I want to wake up at night for me to do a prayer over a vision that I want God to establish. Really, I really want God to establish a vision. So thank you, but I'll be listening. Maybe I'll step off. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Brother Emmanuel, and thank you for joining us. I know the time is almost midnight your time, and thank you for your commitment. For those of you listening, Brother Emmanuel is doing a room on Friday nights at midnight Central Standard Time, where he has joined forces with April Stroom, DJ Yoda, and they are running a room on Bible studying at midnight for the people that are partway around the world, to make a difference with them. And for those of you that are here on Clubhouse, if you go to the little green bean up at the top, if you're not a member and you become a member, by the way, congratulations to all of you here. We just hit 13,000 members. And if you go there, you'll be able to see the room that is coming up tomorrow night, Friday night, 2 nights from tonight. So Friday night at 11:55 p.m. Central Standard Time, close to midnight. So thank you, Brother Emmanuel. And with that, I am going to pass this lovely question of what is commitment and what makes you committed to Sister Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette.
Good evening. you know, commitment. When I think about commitment, it's directing your goals into something and finishing it to completion. That's commitment. And I always look at the commitments that I'm into are based around my goals, whether they're personal, professional. They're always around the goals. And of course, I work to complete them. You know, you're my coach. I go through what I committed every week or my goals, and I tell you, hey, did I complete them? Did I not? What worked? What didn't? What am I going to do differently? So there's always that commitment to get that done. Now, June was talking. Hello, June. I was laughing so hard. What if I want to cheat me? And I'm like, well, you're already thinking about the glass half empty, because if you're already speaking a negative word, that's the glass half empty. Now, if you look at the other way as a reward, you're continually looking to fill that cup, and you're going to reward yourself with that commitment. It's a reward. Now, do I do that? Yes. I have reward day where my favorite fast food, I'll say, okay, if I do these things in my workouts and I'm doing really well, I'm going to go eat at my favorite fast food. I'm just going to take one day out of the month and go. And then I do it. And then what happens is, well, because I'm committed to my workout and my healthy eating, that when I go to that favorite fast food, after I have my favorite fast food, guess what? I don't feel so well. So it wasn't a good decision after all, because I'm on track with the commitment to be healthy. And so I stopped giving my rewards more and more, going to that place, because then I go there and I'm like, oh, I don't feel so good now. Why did I want to reward myself with this? So, change it from cheating to rewarding. Talking about the half. Cheating is just throwing the whole glass out. But giving yourself a reward for your accomplishments, for your commitment, that's different. And, if you're going to commit to something and you don't know if you're going to like it, give yourself 90 days. Because guess what? Psychologically, they tell you it takes 90 days. If you quit before 90 days, then you're not really committed. You have to set a time on it. And Coach, you and I know that if you're going to commit to something, a time has to be applied to that commitment. You have to. It's a goal. For me, they're goals. So I have to put a time on. I'm going to accomplish this by this date. And when you hold yourself accountable to that, then when you get to the date and you haven't completed it, what went wrong? How do you remedy it? And then go after the remedy that you're gonna make it work. You're gonna follow through on it. But you have to give yourself 90 days in every commitment. I did a lot. I've been a professor. I've been a coach for sports. I love that you use the Yankees, but I'm a Dodger fan. So you can go back and talk about the Dodgers. I don't think Fabian's going to like that. But so teaching sports, many times when I'm working with the children in sports, they would tell the parent, I don't want to do this. The first they wanted to do it because all their friends were doing it. Now they want to quit because they didn't want to commit to the work. That was the discipline. And the discipline is great, because I saw so many children that when the parents would teach them about commitment, teach them about discipline, they would stick with it. And at the end, they got to decide, I really didn't like it. I really wasn't good at it. Can I find something that I'm good at? But they followed through and they completed it. That's commitment. They persevered. Now, when you tie it to Sujata's book, and what she went through, she was committed and she persevered. She kept hitting walls, these obstacles, and she persevered. That's a commitment. When I did advocacy work, I hit many walls and I had to persevere. I had to find the remedy to get around the obstacles because I had a target. When you do advocacy, you're working to the benefit of someone. You're looking to work to better someone's life. See it to something to completion. So when you're doing advocacy, I did a lot in education, and so advocating for children, I would hit walls. They would try to throw things at me. Well, we don't have to do that. We don't need to do that. And I'd be like, guess what? You're not in control, and have to persevere and teach them. But not throw things at them like they were throwing at me, but persevered, because when you're going after things that are justice or integrity, they throw things at you. It's like daggers. They're trying to keep you from getting through that commitment. They're trying to wane you. They're trying to weaken you. So that is something. But you persevere because you're seeing what the end should be. You're seeing the cause and the effect, and you're trying to make positive change. There's that fire in you to get the commitment done. You were talking to June about her goals. Don't you want to be healthy? that's something you want to be committed to. You want to, let me tell you, cancer is painful. All right. It's painful. So you want to have a commitment where you want to be proactive as well. There are many things to that commitment question, Coach. I've worked with many people, and they either have the spirit in them to get into a commitment, or they don't. It's almost like, when you describe the personalities, you have that one phlegmatic person, and you just can't get them committed to anything. And you just say, I don't think even lighting a match under their seat will ignite them to get up off the burning fire. They'll just kind of look at you and say, yep, it's getting hot, but they don't move. They don't have that passion to commit to anything. So for me, there's a passion, there's a goal attached to it. I go for it. If you're going out there and you're coaching people, you're working with them, you work through them with goals. What is your outcome? What do you want the outcome to be? So that's my perspective on commitment. Thank you for letting me share. This is Jeanette, and I'm complete.
So Jeanette, before you're complete, one of the things that I know about you, right, is your commitment to your health and knowing that there are multiple ways to heal yourself, given that you've had cancer how many times?
6.
Got it. Now, most people get cancer one time, maybe 2, and they're no longer with us.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What have you had to give up in your life because of your commitment?
I had to give up a lot of those wonderful beauty products that women use every day. I had to give those up. I had to give, those great, those cleaning products people love to talk about. Oh, this works great. I had to give all that up. I had to give up a lot of my favorite foods that I like that happen to have a lot of processed stuff in it. So I had to give all of that up because I had to learn exactly what is happening in my body, once you get it. And of course, even doing that, I have a DNA issue. So my body's going to continue doing what it does, in growing these cells. But I hindered it. I slowed it down because I've taken into consideration all these things that are in the ingredients, in the products that affect my hormone system. Because cancer a lot of times is tied to your hormone system. And when you do things that spike your hormones, no matter what, you love that favorite lotion, you love buying frozen pre-made chicken because it's easier, quicker to cook. You love that processed cheese, you love ice cream, all those things, they take a toll on your hormones and they weaken your system, and that's what happens. And so, and believe me, Coach, I've had friends that had cancer, and when they were going through chemo and radiation, I coached them through their nutrition, cleaned out their cabinets, and as soon as they cleared, they were in remission, they went back, and then they got the reoccurrence. And yes, they're no longer with us. So there's not that commitment. They in their mindset. You're talking about commitment, but now the mindset is the other topic of why do they go back to doing the things that may have created an environment that wasn't healthy for them. So that's another discussion. But I did have to commit to giving up a lot of things that I grew up with that is everybody's favorite. And I do teach people how to read the labels, teach them why things are not healthy, and still they don't have that commitment. I encourage everybody, commitment's also about being proactive sometimes. So we can only do what we can, but the mindset topic is another issue. What makes them go back to doing the things that could be harmful to their body? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Sister Jeanette. Thank you for sharing that with us. Appreciate you. And with that, I pass the mic to Sister Dawn. How are you?
I'm doing well, Just normally I'm out doing we call it praise team practice on Wednesdays, but we decided to start doing it on Bible study night. So I'm free this Wednesday, and I was just glad to listen to the room and hearing everybody talk about commitment. And I'm glad I had a minute, because I had to think about this for a minute. I always, I guess, when you experience commitment or the results of commitment, it shows you the importance of commitment. And so the next goal you set for yourself, you realize that you'll actually get to rejoice and have victory when you realize the victory you had in your last commitment. But sometimes we can overburden ourselves. And I say this, let me simplify. I was 8 years old, and I had 3 brothers and a little sister that was very dainty, not much help. And I wanted to do what my brothers were doing and ride bikes and, do all this stuff. It looked like so much fun, but I just thought I couldn't do it. Oh, well, I'm not strong enough or whatever. And my mom would say, you didn't even climb the ladder. We had this swing set. And I knew I could swing on the swing, but they'd climb the ladder and these monkey bars. We call them monkey bars. And they'd grab hold of each one of them and get to the other side. Well, they've been to gymnastics and I didn't go. I can't do that. But she said, you didn't even climb the ladder. So I said, okay, well, I'll do one thing. If I can't do the monkey bars, then I'll just climb the ladder. I got to the top of the ladder and my mother would say, go. And I started crying. And she just go, just go, just reach for that first bar. I got the first bar and I was on my tiptoes. And she said, so what if you can't go to the next bar? At least you got to the first bar. And then I got to the first bar and I got both my hands on it and I dangled for a little while and said, okay, at least I made it to the first bar. And I got weak and jumped down. And the next day I climbed up the ladder and said, well, at least I could do that. And then before I knew it, I reached to the next bar. And then I could make it to the next bar. But sometimes all we see is I can't. And sometimes we overcommit ourselves saying, okay, they can swallow the whole elephant, but they had to do it one bite at a time as well. So, and I think a lot of times when we say, okay, I'm going to be committed to this, and we set the bar a little bit too high for ourselves, and then we experience disappointment, and we say, I was fooling myself to think that I could do that, or if I could write a book, or I could, do something like that. You know what? In physical therapy, they have what they call short-term and long-term goals. And let's just do this first thing first. Just reach for the next bar. Don't try, to get all the way to the end. One step at a time, you'll get there. Because a lot of times people, I would notice that they would regress when they tried to, to swallow a whole mouthful at once instead of just tiny, tiny little nibbles at a time. And once you see that victory, then you're like, I tried and I got that small little victory. Next time it's possible. All those little small victories add up to, before you know it, you've gone all the way across the swing set and you're having fun. Saying, I never thought I could do that.
That sounds like me.
Yeah.
So you're saying exactly what I'm going through right now.
Right. So it's just that first step. And then I had that one person saying, just try the next step. There was somebody there to tell me, okay, you've got this so far. Look at what you could probably go a little step further. Eating healthy. But how am I going to get rid of MSG? I started with sausage. And then with sausage, then I started with, and then I started saying, hey, there are chips that don't have MSG. There are, or there are foods that are clean that taste good. So, let me try one thing at a time before I know it. There's nothing in my cabinets that has MSG in it. Okay, so let me try, preservatives. And so I said, now that I'm used to eating without MSG, I'm going to try to get rid of stuff that's got preservatives in it. And so I tried that. And before I know it, I'm eating cleaner. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, reducing the hormones and preservatives and food coloring and MSG, all that stuff. I'm getting there. But like I said, it's all about reaching for the next bar and the next bar. And that way I just don't say, I can't do this and just quit. So, we overwhelm ourselves, I believe, by trying to think that we can just be, Superman or Superwoman. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But he leads me down the paths of righteousness. There's roads that we go down in order to get where we want to go. And we don't just, blink our chin, nod like Genie, and all of a sudden we're there. No, it's just a little at a time. We can do it. And that one person, the Holy Spirit or whoever the Holy Spirit uses to say, try that next bar. I think you can do it. And off you go. And I think, commitment is knowing that I love this thing and I want this thing. And I'm going to treat myself in a way to where I know I won't quit. And if I'm too abusive with myself, then I'll injure myself. So I'm gonna one bite at a time. But before I know it, I'm gonna make sure I succeed. And if you decide in your mind, I'm gonna make sure I succeed. But if I go too hard at it and I run out of gas, that's not good either. So you kind of have to take care of yourself in the journey, psychologically, emotionally, time-wise, especially having that one little person that has a gentle whisper in your ear. Reach for that next bar. So I'm working on me. I'm not where I was, but I'm not where I used to be. After being in this room, I realized I got to go reach for the next bar. It's time. I love you all, and thanks for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Dawn, and thank you for sharing. Really appreciate it and appreciate you being in the room with us. And with that, I'm going to pass the microphone to everyone's angel, Diane Arthur. What would you like to share with us about what is commitment and what makes you committed? The mic is yours.
She is muted. It's the little red dot, sweetie. I think she's unmuted, Coach. She can't see that well.
Ah, okay.
She's like me. You have to tell her if she's unmuted or not. So.
Got it. So, Diane, you are currently muted. So if you would like to unmute, it's in the lower right-hand corner. You'll need to unmute. And if not, and you just want to be on stage, nothing wrong with that either. Oh, did I see it flash? Was that my eyes? All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now we can. Beautiful.
There. Sorry.
No worries.
I really apologize. I fell asleep. I dozed off. Sorry.
No worries.
I really am. Okay. It was just for a moment. So, all right. Commitment. Okay. Well, there's a lot of commitments. One is commitment to yourself, commitment to others, commitment to God. I commit myself to everybody, not just myself. But right now, I'm committing myself really strongly very strongly to myself, because I'm in a hospital. I'm trying to walk again. So I'm very highly trying to commit myself. And then you have your family that you're committed to, and and then you have the person that you're in love with. You commit to you commit to them whole heart and soul, and then you commit to your friends, to be there for them whenever they need someone, and then you commit to God, to be all that He wants you to be, and to be like Him, to be what He made you to be, and then you try to be the best thing you can, and I try to be that way, and I love everyone, good or bad. People, I've had a lot of people that don't like me. Well, they don't like me, but it doesn't mean that I can't love them. So, I am Diane, and I yield the mic.
Thank you so much, Diane, and thank you for being with us this afternoon. Really appreciate it. And it's nice to meet you. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Michael. Michael. Michael Myers. Now you're muted, Michael.
Yeah, I know. I was just seeing if Miss Diane's muted to help her out. Because, like she said, commitment is a big thing, and I'm committing myself to be the best that I could be for her, because I'm helping her out, and I'm doing the best that I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Michael, and thank you for always showing up, and really appreciate each and every one of your time. And Sujata, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
I just wanted to see if you had any closing thoughts before we close up for the day. We went all the way through the stage, and looking forward to connecting with people tomorrow, where we will take on the next level of this conversation.
Yes, it was an awesome room with awesome shares, and I really loved it. And I would like to thank everybody for being committed to this room, because you could be doing 10 million other things, but you do show up in these small, I would call meaningful rooms with meaningful conversations. So I appreciate that immensely of everyone that comes into this room and stays. Thank you so much.
Can I say something else really quickly?
You sure may.
Okay. Judge Sujata, I really appreciate what you did for me on making the podcast, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you. She made a podcast about me and my life, so I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yours is an inspiring story, Diane. So I just did my little bit.
All right. And it looks like Miss Pat just came up to share with us. Go ahead, Miss Pat.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, my brother from another mother. Oh, I love this topic. I love this room. And I was trying my best. I'm working on a project that it's a goal that I have to complete today. And my commitment is that I will complete it. Now, whether or not I'm going to do it today for sure, I don't know. But goals change, but the commitment is the same. I was listening to my sister Janet speak of her commitment, in changing because of her diet, because of her cancer. And see, that was a commitment that she was going to get well. That was her commitment. That was something that she had to do. Now, from a goal comes a commitment. Now, how committed you are. See, I'm committed to loving God. I'm committed to requesting that He leads me. Now, what is my goal in order to get to that commitment? I want to bless others with my stories of resilience, of victory, of valor. And I don't need anyone else's approval, because what I do is not for your approval. What I do is for the glory of God. So there's a big difference between a goal and a commitment. Because you can have a goal, but you don't have to be committed to it. You may not be committed to it, and you won't complete that goal until you say, this is something I have to do. So what are you committed to? And I can say, I'm committed to God, but what in me? What about my being committed to God versus to love one another? Because I can't say I'm committed to God if I'm not doing the things that He wants me to do. Humbling myself as Jesus Christ humbled Himself. Knowing that I can give my battles to God and He's going to fight them. He says His burden is light. So I'm very careful. And I'm very prayerful. And I love playing gospel music. I love playing all kinds of music. I'm not just going to say gospel music, all kinds of music, Coaches introduced me to some different types of music that I've fallen in love with. So let's look at, and who was that was speaking? Because I was working as I was listening. Someone is in the hospital. Is she still here? And she is trying to walk. Is that person still here?
Yes.
Oh, I want to just speak to you from a point of view of someone that once couldn't walk. One word that I almost, and Coach, I'm going to say this, 99% have stopped using trying. Because what I did was I said to myself, I am going to walk. I am going to walk. I'm not trying. I am going to walk. I was committed to walking. I didn't know when. I knew that I was going to do everything that the therapist told me to do. And I was going to go beyond, because it was set in my mind that when I could not walk, and the doctor said I may have a problem, it was set in my mind that I was. So I wasn't trying. I was going to walk in my mind. And each day I said, I'm walking. And each day I said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And it got stronger. I'm telling you, when you are facing life challenges, this is when God is strongest. And this is when you call on Him to fight your battles. So just remember, there's a difference in a goal and a commitment. It may start with a goal, but are you committed to that goal? A goal is something that you want to do. And I looked it up because I wanted to make sure I had the words correct. But a commitment is something you have to do. There is a difference. Now, do you have to live? And what is your goal for living? Are you going to sit and wallow in whatever tribulation you're going through? Or are you going to say, I'm better than this? Devil, Go someplace and sit down because you have no power here. And see, the attacks, because we are children of God, and we're spiritual beings, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against principalities. And I want to tell you something, and somebody else here knows what I'm talking about. New levels, new devils. Watch as you go up the ladder. Watch as you climb the step. Watch the enemy come in there and try to sock it to you. But see, that I am God, I am God, I am. Jesus says, I am the way. I say, I am victorious. God didn't open this door for me for you to close it. This is what I have to share. So let's set our goals and let's make a commitment to them. Even though we may have to change the goal, maybe it might not be today, or maybe it may not be yesterday, maybe it'll be next month, but make that commitment, and you can set a time to it. But don't beat yourself up when you don't make it on that time you set. Change it. Circumstances cause us to change our goals, but if you've made a commitment to someone else, and you realize that you're not going to make that commitment, this is a problem that I've had at different times. Let that individual know right away when you realize that you're not going to be able to do what you said you were going to do. Let them know as soon as you know, because my word is the only thing I have.
All right, everybody, we are going to be closing down the end of our broadcast here. And